Hey there everybody, and welcome back to Sasquatch Speaks. This is Sasquatch, otherwise known as Gavisas. Welcome you all once again to this dark little corner of the internet, which shall be known as ours. On today's episode, we're picking up where we left off yesterday. I don't know if anyone had figured it out from what yesterday's topic was. I kind of hope you did, because I said yesterday was a precursor and a ramping up to what today's topic is. And it should be, I think it should be pretty obvious, without even having said it already at this point. If you watched yesterday's video, you should know where I'm going with this. Yesterday's video, we talked about labor disputes and how if you don't want to work someplace, don't, basically. I mean, if you don't feel that you're being appreciated there, if you don't feel that your services are being valued properly, then quit. It will. You're trying to hurt your employer. It will hurt your employer the most profound way you can as an employee. And you're no longer in that situation. You're free to make other options and other decisions and find other avenues of making money. It's really the way to go in that sort of situation where you're like, I don't like what my employer's doing, blah, 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 blah. Okay. But that's one thing. And what's being talked about right now, at least in America, is a whole other story. For those of you who don't know, who don't live here, or are just kind of out of the loop on things, I don't know how you can be out of the loop on this because it's been everywhere. If this is the first you're hearing of this, first of all, how in the world did you find this out of the completely off the beaten path? I mean, you have to be looking to find me. I mean, you have to be like digging under rocks and like mounting expeditions to find this little itty bitty tiny channel, and all the ones on YouTube inside the gigantic entity known as the internet. You have to be really searching to find me. That's a little story. But if this is the first time you're hearing of this, shame on you, really. Shame on you for not being informed, for not even attempting to be informed of the large issues going on in the world around you, because this is kind of a big thing. As to what it is you are hopefully not hearing for the first time, there is current talk of passing legislation. I know everyone's just, oh, that's what he was talking about. And don't click off the video. Don't click off the video. We're going to slightly, well, you probably know the direction I'm going to take on this, but I'm going to provide some extra meat to my argument. That you may not have heard before or have not considered before. To that end, there is current legislation being considered in the United States Congress, the federal level, the highest level of government that we have in America. There's current legislation which is exploring the possibility of raising the minimum wage in the United States to $15 an hour across the board. No exceptions, everyone. Okay. And there's a very strong divide both ways. I am on the opposing side of this. I mean, I'm not saying that people shouldn't be allowed to earn a living wage or a decent wage, but you should be pressed and kept down. No, I'm not saying that. It's not my point at all. I haven't even made my point, and people are going to say, "Oh, you're against it. You're a part of the problem. You're trying to keep people in oppression and locked into slavery." And I say, no, I told them to quit yesterday. I'm probably going to tell them the same thing again today. But the thing is, and like I said, I understand. I'm not at all against people earning a living wage or people earning enough money to support themselves and their families in the slightest. I am not against that. I support that. It is part of my job to help people do that. It is a part of what I do to help people in their everyday lives earn more money and keep more of what they make. That's what I do. That's the whole ins and outs, long and short of it. That's it. That's everything that I do. But when you start talking about legislating this and saying absolutely from the top to the bottom, everybody who works must make a minimum of $15 an hour. When you're, I mean, it would be one thing if we were already at like 13. Then it's like, okay, not a big deal. But no. I think I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure right now the current minimum wage, as mandated by the federal government, is like $7.25. So for those people who do not know what that is, it's $7.25 for every hour that you work in a place of business as an employee. Not counting taxes, because that'll be taken out later. And your $7.25 will be whittled down to about $4, usually. Maybe $4.50 if you're lucky. But we won't talk about that. We won't talk about driving there and expenses, because usually by the time you get done with all of your travel time, and if you actually work at one of the larger retailers, you're probably buying your items from them because of employee discounts. Usually by the time you actually take home pay, and you say, okay, well, this is coming home with me, and it's not staying here at the retailer, it's not going to the government. Usually by that time, if you're working at the basics of $7.25, usually you're down to about $2 an hour or less. Usually. And again, this is part of my business to know this kind of stuff, so you can kind of take that at face value. You may want to do some extra research on your own, but for the people who are lazy, you're not going to do that. You can. It's around there. It's not too far off. I understand. That's not a lot of money at all, in any way, shape, or form, respect, or anything. It's pretty small. It's not great, but this is the stipulation that everyone's already heard, and I'm going to move on from here in just a short bit. But should it be that great? I mean, for the people who are working at, and the big offenders, everyone talks about McDonald's and Walmart, fast food and retail chains, they're the evils of the world. Okay. Well, first of all, I'd like to point out that nobody has stopped shopping there. Just no one has stopped eating at McDonald's. Their profit margin is still pretty good. They're still making about $1 billion an hour or something like that. Not that much. I believe if they're making that much money, I would own stock. I don't. But they're doing okay. No one's hunger strike or refusal to shop at Walmart has sent those companies down the drain. I'm fairly confident that their profit margins are still pretty good. But people are saying, okay, well, that's that. See, their profit margins. Their profit margins are okay. We're going to raise the minimum wage, and everything will be just fine, and no one will have to. Give up anything extra because their profit margins are okay. They're very profitable companies. They make billions of dollars a year, so no problem. Let's raise the minimum wage. They can afford it. Well, you're right. They can afford it. No arguments. They can afford to pay $15 an hour to every worker in there. But they don't have to afford it. I mean, we can change legislation like that. I mean, send it to Congress, they go, okay, well, there's public outcry and everything else like that they don't like this state of affairs where, it's $7.25, they want 15. Well, we like being voted in again, so, because then we get paid, $600,000. Well, no, that's the president. So, congressmen would be $300,000. We get paid $300,000 a year for getting voted back in, so we want to make everyone happy. So, yep, okay, I agree. Let's make minimum wage $15 an hour, and Walmart, you have to do that, and McDonald's, you do too, and Burger King and Target, and all Meijer, whatever it is, you all have to pay that. Okay, great. Well, they start paying it, and the first thing that they're going to do after they say, okay, well, we're going to raise minimum wage in accordance with federal laws and mandates, and we're going to be compliant with the rule makers. Okay, we agree. Stamp it on. Stamp it right on there. Everyone gets $15 an hour. Minimum. Well, the second thing they're going to do is, okay, Now we're going to raise prices on everything to make up for that $15 an hour. And again, the people who work there are generally going to shop there in some capacity or eat there if they're a fast food restaurant. Generally, they're going to eat there or shop there or something because it's convenient. And in most cases, that's the cheapest place to do it. Like McDonald's, dollar menu, yay, well, now it's a dollar and a half. And Walmart, oh, it's rolling back prices. Well, now we're going to roll prices up. And I've seen some figures and stuff, and kind of the low end that I've seen is that everything in the store will go up $1. Okay, everything goes up $1. That means, on average, the typical shopping excursion for a family of 4, which is about the normal size in America, they come out of Walmart with between 60 and 70 items. Okay. Now, they're paying an extra $60 or $70 every week for those items. All of a sudden, that $15 an hour, that extra $15, the extra $7, whatever it was, all of a sudden, that just kind of starts to evaporate quickly when you're paying more for the products and services you're using. And like I said, that's kind of low. I've seen this go up as much as like 3 or 4, and it's like, wow, that's a lot of money. Because then instead of $60 or $70, you're talking like in the hundreds. Just throwing that out there. Just throwing that out there. So okay. Wait! I have it. The perfect solution. We won't just pass legislation that says they have to raise the minimum wage. We're going to pass legislation that says that they can't raise prices too. Yes! They have profit margins. They'll be okay. They can absorb that sort of expense and it'll be fine. It'll be wonderful. It'll be dandy. It'll be great. Yes! And the evil corporations will suffer for it, but they'll still have, their billions of dollars of profit. They'll just make a little bit less. Okay. I got it. I understand what you're saying. I understand. And I kind of agree with it, They don't need that much, right? They don't need. Need is a strong word. They do not need that money. Let's think about this for a second. Just think about it. Okay. We're going to pass 2 bills of legislation. Federal mandates. And we're going to say, first of all, everyone has to pay their employees. And I do mean everyone must pay their employees more than double what we said they had to pay them before. More than double what we said before. Okay? Starting there. And now we're saying that you cannot raise your prices to keep up with that increased wage. Now here's my question. I will preface this a little bit. Walmart, McDonald's, Burger King, Taco Bell, Target, Meijer, Kmart, Sears. Oh, those evil corporations employing millions of people across the nation and across the world, because that there are in other countries too. But across the nation, because this is the only one we care about. This is the one we're passing legislation for. Across the nation, they're earning billions of dollars and employing millions of people, and they're evil. And we need to punish them and make them pay more for the services that they are taking from people. Okay. Yes. And we can say that they cannot raise their prices so that they feel the pain. And they will still be okay because they'll still be making billions of dollars every year because they're just that big and they have that many outlets and that many retailers and that many people working for them. And that many people who will still go to those stores because even after any sort of price hike, they'll still probably be cheaper. Just putting it that way. Okay. What about Grandma Jones's fine eating establishment? Ooh. Or what about Uncle Frank's corner grocer? He's employing his nephew for $7.25 because that's the minimum wage, and the nephew's just kind of there. Hey, Uncle, I'm just kind of getting here to get a little bit of money. Go pirate some video games or something. Some songs from my iPod. Don't pirate, kids. It's bad for you. Well, bad for your future, your legal future. But, he's just employing it. All of a sudden, you have to raise your minimum wage. Okay, I love my nephew. Great. $15 an hour. There you go, kid. Now let me go. Oh. What? I can't raise the prices? What? But my nephew, I love my nephew. I don't want to fire him. I can't. I gotta pick one. I can't raise my prices. And I can't. Or I have to raise it, but... Well... Little Jimmy, Uncle Frank is sorry. But, you gots to go, kid. Because I can't afford to keep you down anymore. And all you other folks, yeah, the guy at the counter, yep, you're out of here too. Guy with the scraggly beard, stocking shelves, yeah, you gotta go, because they just told me I can't raise my prices, but I have to pay you all more. This is awkward. I know you guys have been helping me out for a lot of years, but I can't do this, man. I don't have that profit margin. I'm barely scraping by here. And I'm like legitimately barely scraping by. Most corner grocery people are like middle income, like in the 60 to 70 range. All of a sudden you tell them you have to cut out an extra or double what you're paying other people, basically double your expenses. Well, crap. That's a real problem. Also, I want to throw this in here. People are saying, "Well, you can't raise prices on the items and things like that because then the evil corporations will get their money back, and you can't have that." Well, the thing is, we see the faces. We see Walmart and we see McDonald's, and I keep going back to those two, but they're kind of the ones that everyone's mad at the most. Everyone else is paying the same thing, but those are the ones we're really mad at, because Walmart and McDonald's, we can't have those evil corporations around anymore. Blah, 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 making America fat. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. You're still eating there, but that's a whole story. You're still buying your cheap groceries. Well, it's there. Okay. I'm not gonna argue about that. Not gonna argue. You do realize that Walmart, McDonald's, Sears, all these places are the end of a chain of processing places. Let's take food, for example, because it applies to both of them. Hamburgers do not just spawn out of the ground. They do not just randomly fall from heaven. They come from cows. And cows have to be raised on a farm, and they do not particularly care to be, raised in a capacity where they are fattened up and, made delicious for our consumption. And so, you have to hire people to encourage them to move along that path from, the proud bull standing on the plains to steak on a plate. You kind of have to encourage that process a little bit through some human intervention. And so you have to pay the cowboys, get out there on their horses with the ropes and their saddles and roar, get up, little doggy, let's go in here and move along in there. And they don't mind the guy with the big old knife. He's going to get you. I don't mind him at all because he kills my steak for me, and I quite like steak. I believe I've made that quite clear on multiple occasions. I'm drooling a little bit because I'm quite hungry for some steak right now. That sounds like a wonderful idea. I might go have some later. It's a wonderful day. I could probably make it work. So you pay the cowboys, okay. They usher those things from birth to full size and weight, and they're tumbling around at 2 tons apiece, just boom, 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 boom. They're running through the pasture, and then they go, okay, your number's up. That way to the slaughterhouse. They go to the slaughterhouse. Okay, well, there's a bunch of people there at the slaughterhouse. My uncle's a butcher. He's a very good butcher, and they pay him, and it works out very well for him. I mean, he's pretty good at what he does. It's spectacular. In fact, he gives me some extra stuff that gets laying around, and it's prime cuts, and it's delicious, and it's wonderful, and we eat too much whenever we get some of that, but it works out. I enjoy it, at least. But there's a challenge. He doesn't work for free, and none of the other people there work for free either. So you got to pay them, and Then there's the shipping companies that take the cattle between, the ranches and the slaughterhouses, and then the slaughterhouses to the packing company, because that cannot be done in the same place by federal law. You can't do it. You have to kill them one place, pack them another place. Just how it is. It's tough, but you got to do it. So you got to hire another shipping company and pay for all those drivers and all those hours and all those miles, and get to the packing company, and you got to pay all those people, those greedy people just trying to feed their families. The packing company putting that little saran wrap over the steaks and the little styrofoam containers, and you got to pay those people too, because they have to feed their families. And then you got to hire another shipping company. I know, it's just greedy people. Just can't understand why they can't just raise cows in their backyard or something. And just pay those people, and the third shipping company, and take that on to the warehouse, because this is how Walmart does it, and take it to the warehouse, and you got to pay people there to manage the warehouse and make sure that everything comes in and goes out at the right time. And then when an order comes in, say, hey, we're short on steaks in Auburn Hills. We need more steaks. Okay. Well, we hire another shipping company. Well, actually, it's internal shipping, but it's still shipping. You got to pay them drivers again. Greedy drivers, and send those steaks on from the warehouse to the face that we all see of Walmart. Okay. Now, we don't see this process. We don't even understand this process. Most of us aren't even cognizant that this is a process which exists. But we're talking about not raising prices at the moment. Well, if we go back to the ranch, and the ranch has to raise prices because, well, they have to pay their ranch hands. Okay, well, now we got to move on a little bit farther. We got to pay more for the trucking company, and we got to pay more for the slaughterhouse, and we got to pay more for the other trucking company. We got to pay more for the packing company. Got to pay more for the other trucking company. Got to pay more for your warehouse, and then your home shipping, and then finally you have to pay even more for the people working the register at your local Walmart and stocking the shelves. We're not just talking $1 an item. We're talking about cost being basically doubled at every step of that process. Every step. Every single one. From the point where it's like, okay, well, the calf just fell out of the cow and it started sucking on the udder. Okay, from that point, all the way to the point where it's sitting there in Walmart in your shopping cart waiting to be checked out by the pimply kid who can't, whatever. All the way through that process, the price has been raised and raised and raised and raised and raised. And we're not expecting costs to go up. And then, like I said, that's a big corporation. They can, even at this point, they could probably afford it. It may not be sustainable in the long run, but I'm pretty sure that McDonald's and Walmart and all the other big corporations, they'd probably be okay for a couple decades. They've probably got that kind of a cash reserve. But corner grocer doesn't, and we have just raised his expenses by legislation. So federal mandate: either you comply, or you're out of business, or in jail, or something like that, or fined, so you lose even more money, and then you go to jail because you can't pay the fine because you didn't have the money in the first place. Wonderful sense, doesn't it? Wonderful sense. I don't understand why people assume that every problem has to be solved by the government. I don't understand that. That makes no sense to me. What happened to, again, this is for America. I understand that this may or may not be going on in other countries, but I'm kind of talking to the American folks right now. I may be alienating part or all of my audience, depending on how their political views are on this, or personal views even. But I don't understand how it is that we've come to this point where we're just like, I don't want to have to deal with this. I don't want to have to worry about it. I don't want to have to take responsibility for the decisions or the actions that I've made so far. So Government! Government! My congressman! Waving my hand over here, I have a vote for you. Can you please fix my problem for me? I find it interesting that one of the most powerful quotes from government is largely ignored nowadays. And it used to be one that was just quoted by everybody because it was so good. John F. Kennedy, Democrat. People, oh, you're a Republican. I'm going to quote a Democrat, so screw you. I'm not really a Republican either. I'm more of a libertarian. Just throwing this out there. Not really pertinent to the subject at hand, but John F. Kennedy. Ask not what your government can do for you, but what you can do for your government. I mean, well, that really is the end all be all, because whether people understand this or not, we, the people, are the government. We may not be the people sitting in Washington, but we sent those people. So when they say that those politicians, they're passing legislation. Well, no, you're kind of passing legislation because you voted for them. And you better hope you voted for the right one who will agree with your policies. Whether your policies agree with mine or not, I hope that the person that you voted in is helping you achieve your goals. I hope they do. I mean, whatever your goals are. If your goal is to lay around and get fat, I hope they help you. If not, I hope you voted different. Because it's kind of the direction we're heading in, where it's never my fault. It's no. Again, people complain about these corporations, and I'll admit it, they're making a lot of money, and they're making a lot of money off of a lot of people who probably deserve more than they're getting. But the thing that's kind of escaping here, the thing that's kind of escaping everyone's notice is that, like yesterday, they agreed to it. They showed up and they said, hey, I am in need of money, and what I have to offer in order to get money is my time and my strength and my services and my brain power and everything else that could be attributed to me. Basically, I'm offering myself, give me money. And they said, okay, here's a contract. You can work for us and you can apply those skills and your time, unskilled labor, it's okay. We can train you, it's not a problem. We'll give you money in exchange for your services and for your labor. And they said, okay, I agree with this. Here is my signature on the dotted line. Give me the money and I'll give you the labor. Wonderful. And now they're not happy with that anymore. They're saying, okay, well, I deserve more. Okay, you think you deserve more. Not even going to deny that. Okay, you absolutely deserve more. The position that you're filling doesn't. It's just that simple. It does not. A person who swipes groceries across a scanner probably doesn't deserve to earn $100,000 a year for doing that. Okay, not even $100,000. They probably don't even deserve $50,000. Probably. Because nowadays we have machines where the customers do that themselves. And it works very well. Whenever I go to the grocery store, I almost always go through the self-checkout. Because it's faster. It's easier. It requires less stress in some cases. Because get in that line, and the one person decides, I don't have a problem with chatty people, but you always seem to get in that one line with the cashier who knows everybody ahead of you, and they're old friends and just want to catch up every time they come to the grocery store. Oh, hi! Hey, how are those kids doing? And okay, I need to get home. I've been standing in line for half an hour. Can we move it along, please? Anything? Hello, Bueller. I kind of need to get home. Again, I don't begrudge people having fun and talking with each other and having a social life and a social experience, all sorts of lovely, wonderful things like that. But the point is, those people are becoming less and less necessary. On the whole. And I don't see it as any great stretch of the imagination to imagine that in 10 years, most of them, with depending upon that as their primary source of income, will be unemployed completely, because those jobs will disappear. And I know everyone says, well, you're just trying to promote automation. And it's like, well, no, I'm not. If you think about this, if you think about it, by keeping labor cheap, people are going, by keeping labor cheap, you actually incentivize the companies to not pursue those avenues, because they can get it already and it's fairly cheap, and they can keep employing people and paying them. On the whole, they end up paying them billions of dollars a year to their workforce. They still make billions, but they also pay billions. If all of a sudden you say you have to pay them tens of billions, well, I don't think they're really worth that. And we still have a little bit of profit left over. Why don't we invest that profit in, replacing the tens of billions of dollars we're paying to these people, and instead go back down to just paying billions or maybe hundreds of millions, depending on how cheap they can make it, or replace everything, and eventually, in the long run, replacing everyone would be a lot cheaper. But why are we incentivizing companies to be, okay, well, let's find a way to fire everybody? Why? I mean, again, I understand. We need the money. Okay, I understand. You need the money. I agree with that. You definitely need the money. It's the hierarchy of needs in this world kind of goes, air, sleep. No, it's air, water, sleep, food. Money is kind of right there. Money might actually surpass food in some cases. Most cases, probably. You need it. It's an absolute necessity of life. And I am in the business of helping people, trying to, help them earn more and keep more of what they got. But wow. When you get to that point where it's just like, well, I want more, I think I'm worth more. Okay, well, if you think you're worth more, prove it. Do it yourself. Go out. I'll talk about this another time, not right now, and probably not even this week. But I really hate this thing that's from a lot of the other people who are against the bill and passing for the $50. It looks like it's going to pass. I'm like 99% sure. I'm just kind of putting my opinion out there, sort of in, I wouldn't say silent protest because I've been talking for half an hour, but in moderate protest because I disagree with its core tenets. I think the concept is based on is wrong. And it's not actually going to help the problem. It's actually going to compound it and make it worse. But I'm pretty sure it's going to pass. And like I said, a lot of businesses, first of all, they're going to realize, oh, well, they just raised prices on everything, and everyone is now exactly where they were before. And they'll probably pass another legislation, well, you have to put your prices back down to where they were before, and then all the small mom and pop shops will be put out of business because they cannot compete with Walmart. They can't do it. They don't have the capital. They don't have the profit margins. They don't have that ability. Another thing. Right now we have people who are making $15 an hour in Walmart and everywhere, and all these other big corporations, all these big companies. They are already there. They are already making $15 an hour. They're managers. They're people who have been there for a while. They're people who have worked their way up. What happens when you raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour? What happens to those people? What happens to that $15 an hour they're already making? I mean, obviously, okay, we're going to raise it up a little bit, but you're not going to have that same You're not going to have the same differential. You're not going to have the same incentive for those people for anyone else to even try and get to those positions, because it's worth less. there's a differentiation there. There are wages and real wages. Like I talked a little bit at the beginning of this. I guess I'll call it a show. At the beginning of the show, when you get paid by a company, first of all, Uncle Sam comes in and takes his 30%. Usually it's about 30%. There's differentiation, but usually it's about 30%. Okay. And then you take another portion of that and you usually give that back into your company. Okay. Just because, you're there. And then again, we're talking about Walmart and McDonald's and Sears and all those other places. It's right there. You need the items that they sell, so you pay them because it's cheaper and it's convenient. And it's like I said, it's right there. You can't get any more convenient than you're there for 8 hours a day. Just cannot beat that. So when you say, okay, well, we're going to raise your wages, well, you're also saying, well, yeah, we're going to give the money back to them. And you're going to lose it, right? Your profit margins go down because again they're raising wages. They're going to raise if they are raising wages. That is the words that I was trying to say. Those are the words, not that is. Those are the words that I was trying to say. Cannot speak today. I'm so sorry. When you raise wages, they will raise prices, unless you legislate that they cannot. In which case, like I said, the small businesses, they will disappear overnight. Everything, support local business, that's gone. It's out the window. You can forget it. You can write it off. You can just say, this was a wonderful idea. We screwed it up. We said, nope. We want to punish the big corporations more than we want to keep the little businesses around. Which in reality took away all the competition that the big corporations ever had. All the competition. Just said, okay, well, screw you guys. You're done. Forget you. We don't want you. We don't need you. We're too focused on gouging money out of these massive corporations that we have no ability to hurt anymore. They have grown beyond our means to attack. People say that use that phrase, too big to fail. There is no company ever that's too big to fail. I'm quite certain at some point Walmart will fall. McDonald's will descend into nothingness at some point. I'm quite positive of that fact. But when they do, it will not be because of something that we did. It will not be because of some sort of legislation that we passed. It will be because they made a mistake. Like the companies did in 2008. Those companies should have been gone. All the investment banks and things that rip people off for millions and millions and millions of dollars and subprime mortgages and mortgage-backed securities and the whole 9 yards. Every single thing part of that whole debacle. Every company that was involved in that should have been allowed to fail. They should have gone bankrupt, closed doors, and ceased from existence. But no, we can't do that. Why can't we do that? Well, they all have very powerful friends in Capitol Hill, that's why. But to say that just anything is too big to fail, that's... in that case, I defer to the old proverb that the larger they are, the harder they fall. And when they fall, it will be a great fall. And there will be much rejoicing in the streets. I'm just predicting that. You can take it as you will and just call it bullcrap, but this is the future I see. Yeah. Anyway, I think I've rambled enough. Really the point of all this is either be content or understand that the place that you're working, if you are working at one of these places, hopefully you're not. Hopefully you're not. These are bad places to work. We understand this. It's like, okay, well, I go and work at McDonald's or I go and work at Walmart, whatever it is. Okay, I understand. This is a bad place to work. I'm not going to get ahead in life. They are not going to pay me what I'm worth or what I think I'm worth or whatever else sort of qualifier you want to put on that. They're not going to pay you that. They're just not. That's not what they're in business to do. They are in business to make money off of you, really. And everywhere else is too. but those are like the chief offenders that everyone gets really mad at. Don't work there. If you are working there and you don't like it, quit. Well, where am I going to work? Well, this is America. This is the land of opportunity. This is the place where you have the right to plant your flag and say, from this point onward, I am going to change the situation that I'm in. And you have that right, and you are encouraged to do so by our founding document. Take advantage of that. Go and make it for yourself. Just do it. It's not that difficult. If you're afraid of just launching out by yourself, I have a friend who's just starting to launch their own company, and I'm very excited. I'm just so encouraged to see that this is happening from her, and I'm wishing her all the best. And the thing is, she could fail. She could. The odds are really are kind of stacked against her because of the field that she's getting into. But I have faith in her. I know her. I've known her for years. Since I was like 2 years old. And just like, I believe that she can do what I believe she can do this. I have full faith that she can make this work. On her own. Without any sort of help from anybody else. Why is it that no one else is, well, not no one else, but why is it that most people aren't even considering that? That they're just like, oh no, must get a job, must get a job, must get a job, must work for this person or this company or whatever else that is. You don't have to do that. That's not required. I'm trying to close this out, but things keep coming in my head. I think I started on this and never really finished it. I hate this phrase that gets thrown around a lot by people on kind of I have aligned myself with people that I don't agree with because I agree with them on one thing, or a basic concept. I just don't agree with their solution. All the angry people are on the hill with the multi-million-dollar mansions going, well, if you don't like to work there, then just go back to college. Well, I have a great distaste for scholastic systems in general. To put it mildly, I have a great distaste for scholastic systems in general. So when I hear people say that, I'm like, no, don't do that. I may get into that some other time. I probably will, in fact. Not right now. Not right now. People, because as it applies to this situation, when they say, okay, well, go make something of yourself, go back to college and learn this and that and the other. Well, the thing is, there's a lot of people who went to college and have degrees. Not just went to college, not just went there and, went to the party school and drank all manner of alcohol for weeks and months and years and wasted tens of thousands of dollars or now hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt because they went to a college that they couldn't afford. Which is another story all unto itself, which will be a topic for another day. They just squandered money. Just blew chunks all over. And money hemorrhaging out of every pore. Okay, they did it. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about people who legitimately went there with the desire to learn and better themselves. There are a lot, and I do mean a lot of those people who went to college, who put in their time, who put in their effort, got their A's and B's, graduated with good grade point averages, went to the job market, said, hey, here is my degree, and they said, okay, $7.25 at Walmart. That's what your degree gets you. And it's the exact same thing that the pimply kid who's 14-year-old and can't barely tie his shoes. You get the same thing that he does. You know why? Because it's the position, not the person. Doesn't matter who you are. Does not matter in any way, shape, or form. Name any important person. Let's think of one. Oprah. Okay, Oprah. I don't know why she came to mind, but if Oprah went up to Walmart and said, hey, I want to, let's just pretend, okay, Oprah loses everything. Just gone. Everything's gone. Everyone just has, she doesn't matter anymore. No one cares about her. Screw her. Nah, screw Oprah. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. She's destitute, got nothing left. staggers to a Walmart. I need a job. Okay, well, you can greet. Wonderful. I'm Oprah. Yes, we know. You can greet, and we'll pay you $7.25 an hour. That's it. You know why? Because it's the position, not the person. Does not matter who you are, does not matter what your background is, does not matter in the slightest. It's the position, not the person. Anyway, I've been talking for way too long. God bless anyone who's watched this video to its extent. If you made it to the end of this video, please comment and just said, I made it. Because just showers and blessings and glory upon you because you made it to the end of this incredibly long-winded video. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed. If you did enjoy it, like rating down below would be very much appreciated. Give me your thoughts, give me your comments. Let me know what you thought of this. Like I said, even if it's just to the point where you're like, hey, I made it. I'm 5 years older now, but I made it. Yes, I have accomplished nothing with my life. I'm so sorry for wasting your time. If you didn't enjoy this video, which I quite assume to be more of you who have watched this, or who have watched part of this, because I don't know. I honestly don't expect anyone to have made it to this point. But if you did not enjoy this video, please leave a dislike rating down below and a nasty comment telling me to stop being such, the capitalistic free market person that I am, and so evil and full of money, desire, and wanting to earn more for myself and have more, and some more society. I want more. I want more. Please, sir, could I have some more? I'm so sorry. That was probably offensive on so many levels, but I don't care. Anyway, thank you all once again for watching. I hope you did find something interesting or thought-provoking or just maybe a little bit, dare I say it, entertaining? Nah, this wasn't entertaining. Thank God this wasn't entertaining. This was a boring drudgery. Yes. Anyway, I'll see you all next time, hopefully with a little bit more lighthearted subject. Goodbye.